Only David gave me signals that mean we had to start, right? So, welcome to the Corie Sheppard Podcast. My name is Corie Sheppard, and today I have with me Jimmy October. What you say so?
All is well.
You good?
Yeah, man, I get.
Usually I like to start these episodes with on a light note, right? But I have a deep philosophical question for you to start with, right? You forgive me, right?
Say less.
How much belt is take to hold up our pants? On average. Just give me an average how much belt is take to hold up our pants.
Three. Let me say that 3 is perfect.
3 perfect.
I could go for a 4th one. That's an inside joke. What if the people don't know what we're talking about?
We can put it on screen, right? David, you said, marry man. I ain't feel it's an inside joke at all.
That's where you start, right?
I just want to know. As a man who don't wear belts.
You messaged me about that. You commented on the post. I was like, yeah, I could use two more pants.
I wasn't the only one. Everybody was watching it. So let me start with fashion now, because that seems to be something important to you in general.
Yeah,
you have a different kind of style.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I think it's more, for me, expression across the board. You know? I like being creative. I like being expressive. That's the way that I feel I get to show who I am without even saying who I am. Right. You walk in a room. Today I get a nice little full Adidas.
Yeah.
I feel happy putting on my clothes. Like I want to feel good, and that's really that's it. There's no maths, no science.
As for you, ever since
I wouldn't say ever since. I feel like if I tell you a joke. So when I was going to school, right, I went to high school at a time when tight pants was our vibes.
Right.
My pants was big, so.
Serious?
Bro, my mother made very clear. No tight pants, not walking out this house. Because your pants not reading no work. Literally, I'll never forget. She literally make that clear. Your pants not learning no work.
That's a real Trinidadian mother, boy.
Real. And I remember a time I get licks for not even gun mouth in the pants, but making it a little smaller.
Right.
Yeah, the world is like the world end because what you doing?
Yeah.
What you doing? You cannot do that. You go into school. No, I used to be sometimes in school as a youth. You're just like, wait. I really had to stay here for 8 hours with this pants, man.
And school is a cold world, you know. When you're going to school and you're outside or wherever the trend is a brutal place.
Pressure, your bag, sometimes I'd buy a transport in like Form 3 or Form 4, because that's when I could get my own little money to make it. Right. But from Form 1 to 3, yeah, it's not transport. What bag it have?
Yeah, boy.
And my mother do not business.
Pain.
No. She was right.
Was she? I don't want to encourage her, because then I got to say my mother was right.
She was right. It made sense. And I think those things allow me to be yourself in a way and be your own person. It kind of give you this foundation to be like, hey, if I don't have it, I don't have it. I could still be me. Right. And I think those things play through in many different forms in my life. Fashion is one of those things. Sometimes it's not about fashion. For me, it's not about brands. It's not about money. It's not about that kind of thing. It's about me feeling as though this is me. This is how I want to. This is how I want to dress. This is how I want to walk into the room and feel good about me now.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
I think it just become a part, obviously, because I make music, it become a part of my brand. Of course. But if I didn't used to make music, it would have just be a part of my personality. Just
yeah. Like, I like seeing people like, Childish Gambino. What's his name? Glover.
Yeah.
So when you see his style, and he is unique too.
Yeah.
But I like when I see old pictures and see how he used to dress long time, like how his parents used to dress him.
Different. But when you find a sense of self, it's empowering to find a sense of self, and I hope that people who look at me wearing whatever or being me, that empower you to just be yourself and do what you want to do.
I think that happened.
Yeah.
I think that happened because I see it in the comments too. Because when I see the belt, I say, nah, boy. They said, and the pants still ain't up,
No, the pants not up. I get so much questions about how much pants it really is. Because some people think it's one pants and it's just like maybe the belt is the waist is where the belt's just.
Oh, people are asking how much pants it is. It's more than one pants?
It's 3 pants.
It's 3 pants for real? I would have never think that.
Yeah, it's 3 pants. One a breaking down.
Yeah, let me hear. As a man who has no fashion, that's always the most interesting part to me.
Big up Ketos for styling now too.
Right.
Is one long pants, which is the pants you can see.
Right.
The other pants is a 3/4 for somebody and hold.
Right.
And the next pants is literally like this short. So it's only the belt.
Got you.
Basically, but yeah, that's the breakdown of the Bam Bam cover artwork.
All right, David, you gave me first fashion lesson.
Yeah.
Well, listen, your name came up in Hoppy episode, right? Which is something I want to get back to. But I also want to make sure you don't do me like Hoppy and you ain't drink a damn thing for the episode.
Cheers.
I know you come up under the best. So let me talk Bam Bam now. You have a new EP coming out soon, right?
Yeah.
I was driving here and listening to it. Now you tell me analytics to see every time I listen, right? So
you're privy to.
Don't ask anybody who come in next, right? Don't ask Jimmy October what time I was prepared before the interview, right? Don't ask him because he know now. But I was listening to it on the Bam Bam is the first one on the EP. Yes, what's the name of the EP?
It's title is called Episode 3.
Right.
Just to give a little backstory on why. So in music, EP means extended play. Right. But with regards to this project, I'm being a little bit literal in the sense of EP. I'm making it mean episode.
Right.
As in, this is my third solo EP.
Right.
As Jimmy October, and basically this project is 4 songs. It's me at this space and time. And that's what I want to share with the world at this time. So this is the episode that I'm in. So call it episode 3.
Gotcha.
The first EP was Vacation. The second one was last year, From October with Love. And this is just called episode 3.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I was in listening to it. I was telling you before we started. It feels like a body of work from somebody who is one of us, where there's a ease of listening to the songs. The best way I could describe it, because sometimes you're preparing and you're listening to people's music and I don't want to say it feels like work, but you know you're consciously doing something for the purpose of an interview. When I throw on your EP, I'm listening. And then I think about other things and things happen and I realize I still listen. Now I realize it starts over. And you're just in it.
So you have the private link. The image that you have right now is the actual artwork for the project. But prior to that, the artwork, the image that I had in my head was just an image of a sunset. So the project basically starts, it's like the day winding down. That's what the project is. So the project is, Bam Bam starts as the highest hype song on the project. And I'm sure you could realize that we come down. So it's Bam Bam, Time, You, a song called Desires. So we basically closing out the day.
Right.
And for me particularly, it means in a sense of closing that particular, from literally from episode 1, which is Vacation, to episode 3, this is the wind down of what we would call that saga.
Oh, gotcha.
So the next saga will be its own thing, musically, sonically. And I like to think of my music the same way as calling it an episode. It's like a chapter. Most of those, actually all of those songs were made more so within the past year. I think in the past I would collect music, like with the last EP. One, it was way more personal than this project. My mom is on the intro of the last one. Things that I'm talking about even, and it might be more catered to relationships I was in or things like that. For this project, honestly, I set out to create from more of a softer space. And that's probably what you could tell in terms of it not feeling too busy. And it feeling like something you could really put on. For instance, a song like You, I literally set out to write a song for women to get ready to.
Right.
Like being, I learned that from this J. Cole. He was having this like time in when he was creating a project where he was saying he would give himself these goals. Yeah, this project is on a softer note, and I want to particularly also big up like women that listen to my music. Because part of why I make this project is because I remember I went to this event, and I mean, I could call some names like
Please.
Mailing, Amalda, Maya, Cameron, DeAndre, like girls, like they'll always be like, like when is the summer music coming or when the next EP coming, and the project is literally
So they're asking
them.
for that.
There's that softer side of me is very much catered towards like women who want to listen to music like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I spent some time catering to that. Bam Bam, I make the joke of it being written for Luna. And I was
Makes
able
sense.
to and I was
Make a lot of sense.
and I was able to work with her
Right.
on some stuff
Nice.
too, because when you think of this headspace, when I'm creating, every time I'm creating is not always about me. Like the creation of it is for me.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And sometimes you want to be a little bit more intentional in that sense too, and be like, I want to make a project for this.
Yeah, for a purpose.
If I want to make a project for Carnival, then I want to make a project to give a certain emotion to the people.
Oh, wait till I talk about women a little bit now. That's
Yeah.
what's good to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So I remember seeing a documentary with Diddy talking about him and Biggie in that era when they were doing the first album, or singles really. They didn't get to Ready to Die and all that yet. And they were talking about how they would just bring women around the studio,
Yeah.
play beats, play records, that kind of thing.
And get
So
a
they're
reaction.
watching a reaction.
Yeah.
Something you all do in terms of when you're working on projects, so you let them hear it when it's done.
I think sometimes I would play music for people. I mean, people in general, not just women. I would play music for people sometimes to get a feel. And be like, I wonder if you're feeling this. I wonder if you're liking this. Did I do that much with this project? Not, maybe not.
So you have a sense of what they want without necessarily testing it to them, yeah?
I think sometimes if where I am and where you are at the same time aligns sonically with where you feel and you want to listen to, then great.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even know. Sometimes one person might like something, the next person might like this, and you're just kind of like, I didn't know that song would work in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I don't want to say it's not as formulaic as if I'm in an era. I know exactly what you're talking about with like Biggie and Diddy too. Like even when they were making songs like Juicy, they would have its old samples, which means they're tapping into that chords and those particular moods and frequencies, which means that you're trying to evoke a certain emotion. And I think that, like musically and artistically, you're trying to get a particular type of result and you're trying to touch a certain type of person. And I feel like, this was definitely in that vein and space for it to feel easy to listen to.
Oh, I got you.
For it to feel like something that you could pour on when you're getting ready, for it to feel like something you could pour on while you're hanging out, while you're with your friends. It's not too busy in that way of like,
Yeah. I had to make sure, because when I listen to it, I always say I listen to it very old years. Between me and David, there's about 150 years combined. So I was wondering when listening to it, but again, the exact feel I'm going for, because the production quality is pristine. This is, I keep hearing you say Brooklyn. As he producer?
Yeah, so Brooklyn Decent produced Bam Bam. He produced Time with, Jelani Shaw, Pops. Track 3 was produced by, crazily enough, a 20-year-old named Cadet.
20.
Genius, like real.
Young him?
Yeah, right here. And the last track, Desires, was produced by my brethren Rich from LA. I made that song in LA.
I see.
The last one. Yeah, a special collection of producers. I work with Brooklyn all the time.
Right.
And I also working with some other people too, trying to build that will and build that sound. So
Well, it came true.
Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Thank
When
you.
you hear it, I'd ask you about genres. There's a big discussion across this table all the time, right? About genre of music and things.
Yeah.
Would you call it a genre? Like when I listen to it, I don't know what I'm listening to. Maybe it's just my age. You box it into a genre. How you feel about it?
I feel like at this point, I feel like Jimmy October is a genre at this point. I think I've had different moments where the genre, and I mean, I'm sure you've heard the term new calypso,
Yep.
Which is, there was a point in time when I would be going to studios and I would be talking about music with artists, producers, working with them too. I remember a time I was making Remember the Days, and a song called Remember the Days with Casey, and even him would be like, like what would you call this?
Yeah.
And what is the identity in it? If it's not, because people would tell you, a man would say, but I'm not soca. That's the reality. Mm-hmm. Even sometimes when it is soca to me, or it feels like soca to me. Mm. And that's where New Calypso came from. That's where I was kind of like, okay, I would like to find some sort of identity in what I make to be able to differentiate and stand on who I am and what I do. Mm-hmm. And do I make New Calypso all the time? No. Mm. It mightn't be that all the time. Mm-hmm. I standing on a lot of stating that I am a multi-genre artist, particularly because there's some people who know me as a rapper. There's some people who know me for vacation. There's some people who know me for Magic with Kes. There's some people who will find out who I am today. And really and truly, it doesn't really matter what the genre is. I think what matters is the quality of the work. And if it resonates with you, it doesn't matter what it's called. I could have my views on what something is. Mm-hmm. And also to say, in my opinion of music in Trinidad, I think everything that we create is rooted in Calypso. Yeah. Calypso is the mother of our music. Calypso in the way that we just talk. Yeah. So if we keeping it real, whether it is soca, Trinidad, steam, anything, new calypso with a C, calypso with a K, calypso with a the true essence of it is calypso, and it is where we come from, and I tend to mix that with a few other things because that's just what I want to feel like. Yeah, you could call it.
No matter. Oh, wait here. So let's bring up New Calypso. When Muhammad was here, well, most people credit you for saying the term New Calypso first.
Give thanks.
And I at a crossroads where I talk to people who do New Calypso. I talk to people who do Ado. I'm not saying the word old Calypso for nobody to call me. I just Calypso. And people who do Calypso with a K.
Yeah.
And some of the feedback we hear all the time from people who've been doing it for a long time and make it their life is like, why we need a new Calypso? Why we have somebody say, why a Calypso with a K? It already have Kaiso. Yeah. So the tendency sometimes I feel when I get feedback is that the youths who doing it now running from the history and they're running from the past by trying to create something else. Not your feeling?
Nah. Mm-hmm. First of all, I think some of the youths don't even know what it is, because like this generation is very different to like us, and my generation, Lou and them are ahead of that. If you think about it in that way,
right.
I think the reason I'll tell you why I called it new. One, it was just to, and I made very clear there's no old Calypso. Let me make that clear first of all. Yeah, Calypso is Calypso.
Sure.
I think the new came from the fact of putting a fresh spin on it. I wouldn't use the word modern because the word modern sounds very corporate to me.
I see.
And new sounds fresh, it's short.
Yeah, it's catchy.
It just goes, you know. And to give a little bit of why is more so sort of, if we think back to, we mightn't be able to think back to it, but if you think back to like 10 years ago, there's some things now that are very popular in our, let's say, modern music, modern soca, modern calypso, right? That was not happening 10 years ago. The log drum is new.
Yeah.
It's a part of a new sound. We take any log drum and we put it in soca and we put it in calypso. We taking this that going on in the rest of the world and we fuse, and there's a lot of fusion taking place.
And it's working.
So in my eyes, that's something new taking place.
Right.
So are we gonna just say as we say? No, the reason why we wouldn't say is just Calypso, and you could correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
The older heads will say, well, that ain't what we was doing, so you can't call it Calypso. And to be honest with you, that's what people was saying with some music that I would make. It was like, that's not soca. So, but what you would call it? Would it be that because I'm not making what you want me to make, then my music doesn't exist, or I don't belong in the space? Or if there's somebody who saying, you know what, I want to mix this with this, I wonder if I could make it sound fresh and new now. And there's people who have done a lot of that in the space. I always like to call names, GBM, Kuta, Teja. There's people who Freetown the same way, full blown. There's people, Calpi. There's people who've given their spin on what, we holding up our tradition, you know, though, let me be real, we holding it up, and we want to introduce it to the youth also in a way that they could understand, and in a way that they do feel as though it's just a thing of the past, because it's not a thing of the past. Calypso is the modern music. I don't even want to just say Trinidad, because if we do a deeper dive into what Calypso has actually done in the space of the world, there's a lot of big things. There's a lot of similarities with what's happening in the Afro space with our music too.
You hear it a lot. And you hear, you know what is true about that statement in modern music is you also hear other genres of music dip in and out of what would be, like you hear a tune, you hear a rap, and that thing feeling like Calypso. Yeah. You know, it's like almost like they never leave it alone. Yeah. So I appreciate you breaking it down, because one of the things that I am passionate about, like when it just came, I tell you about Calypso and Calypso is my thing. It was I'd be very interested in talking to youths now, or people now. Let me just say youths, right? Because they calling youths a whole different group. Everybody young to me, you know? But I'm interested in the people who are doing it currently. Yeah. Who choose to say Calypso or Calypso in any form, whether they change the letter, they change the name. I don't care, because what I understand is I will not be here. We are going to die, right? As most guests here tell me, we're not here forever. I learned that at this table.
You want the thing that you love.
Of course.
To keep moving.
The other thing that I understand is that, like, again, I come from a parang background, and I used to sing what I call old-time Calypso, Melda and thing. I can't wait for all November. I go and Melda by somebody.
Come on.
That's me.
Come on.
You know what I mean? But the truth is, when that man was making Melda, he was no old man, and he wasn't making no old music. Them thing was fresh songs. And in my journey doing this, when I listen to, so I always call my father or my mother, and them was in the Calypso and thing back in the day. And I say, this song was a hit. My father's be like, what? But this was a, and it tells me something. One of the examples of that is a song by Duke named Walk It Up. I was sending to you. Yeah, your kind of music. Bad. A Leston Paul production. One of Leston Paul's first productions.
Leston is
and I dig in for music. Digging, just listening to Duke. And when I hear that, I say, but it's bad. When I call my father, he say, boy, my first car I drive up and down Laventry Road playing that one. And I say, you must know a hit. There's no such thing as that. It's not the idea that we relegate it to being a
feeling. But I think is timing, and is also perspective. And I think there would be somebody that's 15 years old who have a very fresh outlook and perspective on the music that I might make, and he might come and sample Magic in 20 years and then be able to say, well, this is when Kess and Jimmy made this, and I wanted to give it a different energy. And we had to make room to be able to be like, let me try to understand what his perspective is at that time now.
Yeah, just remember when you go old, you just I love a thing. I can tell you, if I try to get from here too fast, all hell break loose. Just remember when you reach that age, don't tell them youths what they're doing is not Calypso.
You see?
Yeah, it's important. We had to change it,
bro.
We had to change it.
It really, and honestly, across the board, bro, I think is a special time. And we say this, obviously, we know how it is, but it's a special time for our music. It really is. It's a special time for diversity. There's so many different levels that our music is excelling on, and there's so many different and new things being brought into this space. People like Lady Lava, people like Young Brother, the listen clearly, you would hear the calypso in that as well. It is a different and a fresh take, and it's something new that's being brought to the table.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, if I'd asked you what steam was, we wouldn't know.
And we must make space for it. It's important.
Because it takes that particular type of like bravery,
of course,
and belief in yourself to be like, this is what I'm making, and this is something that I remember saying on an interview when I used to rap years ago. We also have the responsibility of creating culture. Culture is not just something that we knew from our past. Because when Shorty I was making what he was making, it wasn't that at the time.
Of course.
He was deciding that I want to merge these two things, and I want this to exist from today.
We're going to end up on this topic whole day, brother, because Dread, you know what I was telling him then? Now in a Calypso.
Come on.
Or Lord Nelson, you bring up technology and how you're using different drums now. When Lord Nelson say,
disco.
It's a little,
Yeah.
what is that?
Different.
Well, it had to be different. It had to be different. I appreciate only for your efforts to be different. So a word you bring up there is feeling. Yeah. And in your music, there seems to be a lot of feeling that's poured into your making of the music. So I want to go back to the original or some of them feelings. But I want more today questions to ask you. How long you staying in the gym, Dread? Come me and David, we behind bad. We looking for we had a therapist here yesterday, right? And we get real free therapy. So right now we're looking for free workout advice and fitness and so on.
I work out for an hour and 45 minutes. I don't work out.
You work out each time for like over a period? Because I work out for 1 hour and 45 minutes so annually.
No,
on aggregates.
Yeah, I ain't feel you read the book. What book you read? You ain't read the proper book there, no, brother.
I get the results to show.
No. That ain't not what they mean. I promise you. I'm promising you that's not what they mean. It's dope that you asked that. The interesting thing about the gym, bro, and working out now, I would say it is something that I've done over time, but for the past year, or I'll say for this year so far, I've been taking it, very, very. It's a part of my day.
The 145 is every day?
Yeah.
All right, let's move forward.
Yeah, he said, let's keep. He said, that's not for me. That's not for you.
That's a lot. But you're taking it seriously.
That's how I start my day. Obviously, there's times when you have something to do. I ain't go gym today. I'll probably go later if I could make. I don't love to
me
go.
too.
Yeah, you sure? Well, let me go.
No, I think I'm busy after.
Not with you,
something
brother.
Just come up. I see you doing that. Let me go. I see where they're going and go.
So what are you doing, man? I can't even tell you what I want to tell you.
I want to hear. I ain't going to use it.
It literally become a part of like my daily structure. I don't like to work out in the evening. I work out in the evening more if I like traveling, but I like to start my day there. Be walking back home, the sun coming up, the gym close to where I is, you know what I mean? Yeah. It feels easy. And I used to be in cadets as a youth now.
Oh, serious?
So the reality of it for me is when I left my job a couple of years ago, because I was working up until what? I think I left my job 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, I was on tour without work.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like working in a hospital. So when I left work, I needed something to add structure to my day. I needed something that was tied to discipline that could actually get me going to then be like, okay, cool, if I start here, I have a session here, I have this here, I have that here, and it just become this part of my life.
Yeah,
and
a big part of your life.
And I think even on a note of if I think about purpose, because I always try to think about what is the piece of myself I could give to somebody else too. The truth about that is I also want artists and creative people and people who do similar things to me in our work. We have to remember we have to take care of ourselves. We have to we live in like this life where we you might smoke, you might drink, you're not resting as much because we're trying to put work in. The reality is, with all that in mind, we had to be able to be here to even enjoy
it's true.
whatever come with that. And I hope that what my peers or people see from that is we could get it in the same way.
Yeah. It seems
know
so.
what I mean?
A little less than 145, right?
Come on. An hour is good, Chief.
All right.
An hour, right?
I had to go work on
not an
hour
hour
a week.
year.
An hour how long? A week?
An hour a day.
That's a lot. Let's move. Let's advance this conversation. David, I learned to spell from this man, so you named the episode GYMMY, right, Jimmy?
Yo.
So let me talk about the early days now. The first thing I always wonder is Jimmy October. Where did the name come from?
How long we have here?
We have whole day. We have whole day.
Yeah, I get this question a lot, and I'm glad that I could answer it on a platform like this because I can't answer it every time somebody asks me. So
much people ask.
Yeah, I think it comes from a few things. I'll give you some. One, I was born in October. Flat I was born the 9th of October, and I always resonated with being a Libra. And I always felt connected to it. I feel like I'm a very balanced person. I try to be. And I always, you know what I mean? We're not perfect. But, so I always like the October thing was always something that I felt connected to. When I used to rap, when I was younger, I had a song called Jimmy. I wrote a song called Jimmy about this very simple guy. It was me, Nick Soul, and Romy. I was making music with them very much at that time. And the song was about a very simple guy. I always tell you, I'm a boring person. Outside of music, I promise you. The song was about somebody who your superpower was trying to make music.
Okay.
The most important thing. It was the most important thing in your life, and there was the song was written about this trajectory of becoming Jimmy. And where that came from was, you ever watch 8 Mile?
Yeah. Eminem.
So Eminem's name in the show, his rap name I think was, what was B Rabbit?
Rabbit.
Right? His real name in the show was Jimmy. And I resonated with it because I'm from Grande. I was a simple fella. Simple childhood, simple life, no money, and come from nothing of that sort. And I resonated with the fact that Eminem's superpower in that show was his talent. It wasn't anything else. He didn't have anything else, and I always felt like that was my superpower was what I could do. It wasn't I have this. It wasn't I could get. It wasn't that. It was this is the thing that was tied to what I feel is my purpose. And I felt like that's what all Eminem had was drive in that show, like drive. He didn't have anything else to give you. He could open his mouth and
when the switch hit,
it hit. And I resonated with that. And I also on Kanye had this album and he had a skit called Lil Jimmy, and early in like my rap career, I connected a lot with that project, with that song, that album, and I just felt like I was called to put Jimmy in front of October.
I see.
And it was kind of random, but I was just like, this is my superhuman element, because my real name is LaShawn. I'll say that here. Yes. I don't really tell people that. But my real name is LaShawn, and I felt like I really exist in this duality because LaShawn could be very, very, very different from Jimmy October. LaShawn, I know people look at Jimmy October as like this confident. LaShawn just taking it easy.
Different persona.
I'm very confident about what I feel like I'm here on earth to do, and that coming from God, and maybe that's where the confidence comes from in that regard. But outside of that, it's just a simple man.
All right.
And that's where the
All right, we go make this into something so you know to tell this story again, right? We go box it up
Please.
nice, we go put it up.
Put a little bow on the top of that and
So everybody know.
Jimmy October.
It's part of the mystery. So when we talked yesterday, you asked me, well, what's the first time you come into contact with Jimmy October?
Tell me.
I'll tell you. The first time I heard your name and saw you, I saw what you just described. That confidence and that. To the point where I was like, what the hell is what's Jimmy October song? And something about it is grip you. It's like, you want to know more when you hear Jimmy October.
Bless me.
And then, like, how this man so confident? I never heard about this man before. And I late to every party, so I always assume people know and I don't know. And it was a performance somewhere on St. Vincent Street for Guardian. I believe Kes had a show on the street. I don't know if it was COVID or something, or how long ago it was. It was COVID.
It was COVID, yeah.
And I hear the name Jimmy October. That was the first time I came across it. But when I hear the name, I remember when I saw it the first time, it was in a show in the complex.
Okay.
With Bounty Killer, Idonia and all of that.
Fully loaded.
You remember that?
Happy.
Oh shit, Hoppy.
Yes.
We can't get rid of Hoppy, David. We can't get rid of Hoppy.
Yeah.
It's true. So that time I saw you all on stage, that would be with Brave Boy and them all.
Yeah,
That was right.
yeah.
So I saw it then and I say, but all you hold it. So let me put it like that, right? I will get back to that. But then I see you announced and they say, welcome into the stage, Jimmy October. And it feel like you started walk to the stage from the Savannah.
Yeah.
You just taking your time. I was like, who's this man? I was like, who he? You just taking your time coming down. And it's almost like, you know, when you see a force, you just had a watch. You just had it's so because Kes is who he is, you know, and you never seemed hustled, shaken, bothered, or any of it. So a part of that is your own confidence going on stage. And you remember this? I'm talking about?
Of course, I remember it clearly.
So you was just cool. You was just,
that was a moment for me too, bro.
I see.
Yeah, that was that particular. I think I was very much realizing too at that time, like, okay, cool, I really kind of doing this thing, you know what I mean, and just trying to be me, you know, just moving with the vibes, moving with the energy. I love performing with Kes and the band. Yeah, them fellas is real human beings, and I really appreciate working with them men too. So yeah, it was easy.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, it look easy. It always reminded me of a time I was graduating from uni. And I remember one girl who, random girl, she on campus, bright, everybody bright, you graduated. And at that time, there's a certain amount of, a stage just brings a certain amount of nerves, for me at least. And no minus hundreds of people crossing the stage. The thing that you're calling my name and I see center attention, I nervous. And I always remember the girl in front of me, when they said her name, she take what looked like the most deep breath I ever seen in my life. She just take a huge breath and then walk across the stage real slow. So now I knew it was like hell because I was like, this before I just want you to get this thing done. And she take her time and she walks. And I always had a parallel in my mind with those two moments. What made that moment special for you if you say something that's true to you? It's just the recognition that you're there?
I feel you have moments. You have moments when you want to make the best of the opportunity that's given to you, right? I think one of those moments was definitely being able to make magic with, like, make that song with Kes.
Right.
And in that particular, that time capsule, yeah, bro, I just trying to give my best, give my all, and ensure that when I show up, you know it's me.
Yeah.
You know the way you have an idea of, oh, this is who Jimmy is, and this is what he brings to this space. There's something about whether it be identity, whether it be sonically, what you like what you're hearing. And I feel like for me, maybe the moment of walking into that space to perform, maybe it wasn't where it was for you seeing it from afar. You probably more like, oh, this is a spectacle to you. To me, I just kind of trying to make sure I don't crack.
I see.
Like real.
Focused.
For me, I focused on,
all
right, let me try to deliver. I have 5 minutes here with one of the best bands in the country.
Yeah, do a good job.
And I have to do a good job, and I have to represent myself, I have to represent Grande and where I come from, I have to represent people who in the younger space musically. I have to like hold all of these things together to create a moment. And That's probably all it is for me.
I'm
not even looking at myself the way you.
Of course, you're always looking.
It's
but
not
parallel to Jimmy and Eminem is so similar,
exactly.
you know. Yeah, but it left an impression because I know
Exactly.
if Kes call me, I come in. Me, it's a no saunter. I make a war we rehearse.
Hey.
Out there.
I weak.
So we done on Magic already. Let's talk about it now. How did it come about? How did that collaboration get in?
So we was doing Kes. I think I knew Kes for a little bit, but more so just to see him, heal him. If anybody know, Kes is a genuine fella, like cool. Across the board. No artist, like across the board. He's a genuine human.
Right.
So we would cross paths sometimes, and I was still rapping when we probably crossed paths the first time. I think when I made Vacation in 2017, I remember going on my phone and seeing Kes the Band official just followed you.
Aye.
And I saw there was a few other artists. Like I was like, oh, what happened in here? I was like, something was happening. I felt maybe because the music was now closer to sonically a home space.
Right.
And it was something fresh, something that Kes always told me. He was like, you have a fresh approach to Calypso. And that's really where we connected, because Kes comes from also a background of making different genres of music, which is something that there's a parallel there, something that I really respected. And we just see each other eye to eye in that space of being like, okay, cool. We clicked there.
Right.
So we was doing some writing sessions. So there's work that we wrote. We wrote me, him, Calpi. We wrote Close to Me for him and Shansia, Kes and Shansia. So we was just doing sessions. I was as a songwriter.
Right.
That was more what was happening. And there was a day he called me. He was like, yo, you're wrong. I was in town. I was like, yeah, you know, this is the location. You know, he picked me up. And he was like, I have this song now. And I was like, all right, cool. We could go and finish it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I just thinking, we going and write. I just thinking, as a writer, you have an idea. And I can't remember exactly the trajectory of it, but he had the line, it's the new Calypso, right? And I believe it was probably him on Full Blown, because they wrote on the song too. But they had that line and maybe two other lines. And he was just like, new Calypso is you. And he was like, I don't just wait to finish writing this song. We have to do this song together. Which is something that I was like, what? Oh, this is what, 5 years ago. And
that's only 5 years ago?
I was 25 or 24, turning 25.
Oh.
So for me, working Grande Hospital.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have work in the morning, brother. You know what I mean? Gaston, I just call him Gaston. I have work in the morning, my G for 6. You understand? That was the reality. So for me, I messaged my mother to tell her what, Kes want to make a song with me? Okay. That at that age, that's not real. Like it's not real as like a youth man coming from Grande. It almost is imaginary. And him being like, yeah, we have this is what we have so far. I need you on this, because this is the energy of New Calypso. And even him, because he could have probably do this song by himself.
It's a very gracious thing.
That's what I was going to say. Even with the words New Calypso being in it and him being adamant to be like, that's Jimmy. And Jimmy had to be on this record. And that's what I mean when I say by real human. He's a G.
Yeah.
And he's somebody that shares light and shares space. And when he said, I remember being so anxious about it, because I know that I was entering, because of his light, I'm entering a mainstream space with a song like that. Right. And I remember having in my mind feeling like, yeah, but bro, this is not soca, you know, people would say it not feeling like this.
But so when you're making that, you had that in
that,
mind,
yeah. I remember wanting to change my verse. And I tell him, I was like, you know, I feel like I was singing too much, and he was like, bro,
It's good.
the song done. He was like, bro, we made a masterpiece. He said, I promise you. And season coming close. They're already teasing the instrumentals and the ad for the rhythm of life. He made it such a big thing in the era and the moment that he was in. And I was like, you're right. I was like, you're right. Again, one, you know better than me. And he was like, the people will feel the energy that we put into it. He said, you don't have to worry about anything. And so said, so done. The way that song resonated blew my mind. And yeah, bro, very, very, very grateful and appreciative of being embraced like that, and being able for me to be able to take a back seat and be like, allow this to do what it needs to do now. You know what I mean? So that was one of those very defining moments in my career too.
Yeah, it wasn't just embraced by Kess on the band, it was embraced by Trinidad and Tobago. It's a staple. It's a classic. It will be played forever and ever and ever. You know?
Thank you.
It's one of those things. So in your early life, you know music is what you're going to pursue. I know poetry is where you're going to start off the writing, but music is on your mind?
Yeah, I would say music is the first thing I fell in love with in my life.
Parents and them in music and thing? Where do you?
My mother is a poet. So my mother would write books and books of poetry. Like my mother would write a lot of poetry in her phone and her notepad and all that. Like, so that fundamental, that part of writing, that was the first. That was like, I know I want to write. And I knew I wanted to sing.
It's how early? Like, what age you talking about now?
I'm even gonna like 1.
Serious? As early as you could remember?
There's an old picture of me beating a Clinton, like as a chubby.
We getting that to put in the
somebody
episode?
pull that.
We can put that in.
As a it's
Clinton, this what ages man is? All we know is that Clinton.
I see the truth is now my mother loves music. She would be singing in the house whole day, playing music whole day. I grew up with that. My father loved the singing too. He'd be walking down the street whistling and singing. My neighbor Ma by my mother always reminds me that she always reminds me, you know, you're just like your father. They remember so much. I look just like my dad and the mannerisms. So music was very rooted in that way. But in primary, I started writing songs in primary school. Yeah.
What school was that?
I went Grande Government Primary School, very close to where I live. And it would be me, at that time, me and Nicholas Subero. I would be in the computer in my mother room. I started making beats early too. So we would be in there, literally, whatever time we get to use the computer, because it have a time.
It's a lock off time.
Playing that. It have a lock off time, big brother. Right? And we would utilize that just to make music really, really innocent. Literally just love something for that reality of just wanting to create, you know.
So anytime to do it, you're doing it.
You're doing it. It don't matter. If it's good, it's good. If it ain't good, it ain't good. But that's something I fell in love with, and I think music allowed me to realize that my true love is creating things. Creating and expressing the things that within me and bringing that into reality. It takes different forms now. Now I could say I could creative direct something. Now I could style a shoot. Now I could build a mood board. Now I could do those things. But the root of all that is music. And it's because I see color when I hear sound.
Yeah, somebody was here talking about that actually.
Yeah, that's the real.
I understand.
It literally tied to my mood now. So when I build even a project, sometimes I looking at a constant image. The same image I tell you was actually and I could show you, I could give you an idea of what that look like from other stuff that I have in my phone. You see this 2025, you see the palm tree?
Right, that's in my...
So that's the way that I will see. This was the first image for Bam Bam.
I like it.
This is just an image. This is an image I saw online. While I was listening to the beat, I pull up the image, and I want to describe what I'm seeing there. That is what I mean.
I want to pause and listen back to it now, but with you.
That's what I mean. Is a full world building experience for me. It's not just, well, I want to make a song.
To catch a hit for next year carnival.
It's not that. And
as really as you remember, you would visualize things in this way? Wow.
Yeah. It's interesting, and I mean, now as an adult, I could piece it back together of why things made sense to me.
You probably wouldn't know
at the
then.
time.
Yeah, you can't language it.
You don't know how to say it.
You had the parent support and stuff at the time?
Yeah.
You wanted
No, my mother is an academic. She's a bright lady when convent. So for her, you better make sure you get them subjects, brother.
I see.
First priority, I with you, I know you love what you're doing. I love that for you too. I want you to keep doing it, but she didn't want me to lose focus. The reality is, especially where we coming from, if you ain't get it, where you go, if you don't get it, where you go to get a job?
Of course.
How would you be able to provide for yourself? You would not be able to. And I just always say, I get my subjects from my mother, it's not for me. I know I had to do X, Y, Z. I want to make you proud. I want you to know we here with you. And I never stopped pursuing music though. I continued at the same time working on what I had to do. I get a job. I was leaving. Sometimes when I on work, and I always used to make a big deal about it, do call me Jimmy in the hospital.
Jimmy!
But because, and sometimes it used to be for them maybe surreal because it's like, but by the time we get to Magic, it was like, that's what with now, so what we talking about? You can't hide now. You know what I mean? You can't hide now, where you go tell me? But I used to function very much. Shirt, Lashoni, man. Yeah, okay. Yes, boss.
So what you used to do? That was your first job?
I was a receptionist.
I see.
So, it wasn't my first job. I got a job straight out of high school. I was working in West Sport.
Okay.
Remember
West Sport?
Yeah.
It's still like that?
Nah, that did.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, just the trajectory of life. My mom had got a divorce around the time my great grandmother had passed. My dad, it was a lot going on. So me and my brother had to. You finish school, you had to get a job because my mom wasn't working at the time. We had to get in the field. You had to hold it down. Yeah. You learn, responsibilities at a higher level straight out of it, which is good for you. Yeah. And that's how it went. So since then, I just kind of know, all right, cool. This is how you're going to take care of yourself. I get a different job. I was an OJT at a point in time. Yeah. And then I ended up working at the hospital. And I worked there for probably 9-10 years, I think.
A long time.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
And I literally had to take the first time when I was approached to go on tour with Kes in the US. I did South by Southwest that year, and me and the team was just building out what would the year look like. And the year didn't start to look like work. The year did not start to look like the hospital.
It looked like resignation.
So what I did, again, the mother that I have, she said, here what's going on. You go have to take no pay leave, You go have to take no pay leave, and you'll have to figure out if you could, just being smart, if you could survive
on that music,
then you could make a decision based on that. And I mean, I wasn't sure if I could have survived. I ain't gonna lie to tell you, because you're living out. I outside for the majority of the year, and that year.
Yeah, you don't know till you know.
Don't know. You don't really know. You're using this credit card. You come back home, you have to put our money back. You just
plus most people just buy one belt. Your expenses your expenses up there. Your expenses up.
Why?
It's the wine. Let me stop.
You're trying to figure it out. What's up? Will you take that from here?
Too late. Too late. No, but wait, it's a chance.
You're trying to figure, and there was so much people. I remember people telling me for so long, you had to leave that job because you know where you're entering. And for me, bro, I was just like, you know what? Let me take my time and really figure out how I could move into this, because I'm not dependent on my mother for a dollar. My father died. That is not the headspace. I am in a space where I need to take care of myself. So I came back home from what maybe was the second tour, I think. And me and my brother was talking. He said, "Why you all know?" Because I used to work shift. He was like, "Well, now you're walking along that road day." I also walk in too sometimes. He say, "You vex, you work 10 o'clock, eh?" And it come to my mind there. I was like, that going on start back just now. Because I was back home and I was going back out to work. And something tell me, I was like, the reality of the situation is, this is a decision that you had to make. And if you make the decision to go back to work, it means that you don't believe in yourself. And you had to live with that decision. Because you're making a decision to go back to work, which means that you committing to that. You're not committing to this. And that's when I was like, I literally picked the phone up and I call HR. I say, I think I reached the road. You know? And I just make the decision, and I did a video too, talking about it in a hotel away. And I was talking about the fact that, you know, I quit my job to be a full-time creative, to be a full-time creator of things. Right. And I'm still here.
Yeah,
thanked by the grace of God. So
yeah, better man than me, because I call and say, "Hey, this is Jimmy October." I said, "Jimmy here."
He say, "Have a nice one."
Everybody had a dream about getting through in the career again. I hit song winning the lotto and calling and cussing up the boss and saying,
"Watch out!" I was telling my cousin this the other day, because a lot of things I don't really talk about sometimes too. You know, things hard. You know, if something hard, I tell him. I say, I remember I on tour. I think it was 2023. I went on a tour with Ruga, Nigerian artist. Big up Ruga, huge Nigerian artist. And that same year, I went on tour with him, and I went on tour with Kes the same year. US tour, a lot of dates, a lot of planes, sometimes driving. Big up Damon, big up Rich, big up Evan. Like it was intense. And I was telling her, I say, "Girl, it's at times I maybe now come from, and my Instagram is Instagram, and you had to post a picture to show you do your work today."
Of course.
You know what I mean? But I tell you, at night I call my mother, cry, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing this for, mommy. I just like, because there's so much things they're dealing with, the pressure of the job, not having that, you're thinking you're going and pull away from that. You're pulling away from it, that gone.
The month-end money gone.
The money that you're sure about, which is how much, but you're sure about it. And
better than zero.
You're telling yourself, and I mean, the other thing was at that time, my mom, she couldn't work for a year. And she couldn't work for the year that I was on road.
Oh, yeah, you want to be there.
I had to ask her if and she was like, "Well, you being here, not gonna stop this." So the reality is, you had to do what you had to do. You know what I mean? But all those emotions, you still had to give a show out there. You had to feel your emotions when you feel it. And yeah, at times I just like, and she had sent me a message at time being like, "New level, and this is the new thing that you had to deal with." And the reality is, you prepare yourself for that, you work for that, don't let anything stop you from where your journey is. And it's like,
feel that.
That's where it's the grounding, it's the grounding sometimes to really remind you, this is why I'm still here, this is why I'm still doing this, this attached to purpose.
Yeah, we have to take a drink to mothers, huh?
No, real.
Yeah, it's very real thing.
My mother is also a fan of the show.
I was saying, this part. Cutting out this part, and I'm cutting out some other things you see and splice it into. We're going to make a little drama here. What we here for? I appreciate that she's a fan, but it's something I always talk to people about here because I don't know if you saw Bungie interview recently with Irish and Chin, where he was talking about the life of an artist. He and Fayan was on the show.
In New York?
Yeah. Dread, when that man say that, it resonates with me. I don't know how it resonates with people who do what you do and take a chance on themselves to do creative work. But that man say, first thing first, doctor, lawyer, next, this, next.
Yeah.
I think he must be called working in hospital to professional things.
Mm-hmm.
And then he say,
Service.
if none of them things ain't work out.
Yeah, real. But that's the truth.
You feel that way?
You're either you're either making a decision or you're not making a decision, and that's the real. If you're making a decision, it's if I decide I want to be a basketballer, I can't go any football field. You might be able to learn something there, but the sport you in will require you to exercise what the muscle is to do this. Now, if I choose to be a doctor, that's a decision I made and I need to follow suit.
Sure.
Our profession is not really, it kind of frowned upon sometimes. Your parents, you tell them what I want to do. It's like, so how are you going on really? You know, it have like successful, people in music. Your mother and father still don't really know what you're just doing. You could have a big song. She say, well, how would you reach there though?
Yeah, of course.
And they paying you in what?
It's a valid question.
They paying you in what? Seeing you're driving a car, me ain't sure where you get that. They paying you how you... Real, that's
It's out of love.
Because
They're concerned. They don't want us to know you're going to do well.
But it's because you love something and you now have to find a way to make a living from the thing that you love.
Yeah, every book you read tells you if you could find that intersection, you're going to be happy in life regardless of what material things you get or whatever, because you're talking about some of the downsides of touring. Yeah. Which, if you talk to a doctor or anybody following their passion could tell you about the downsides of whatever it is, and you had to live with it. And you talk about new Calypso. Remember mommy coming from a time where she see Calypsonians get older. You understand what I mean?
And
she see
old. Old.
It's as some of them who they get older and they're not doing well. I've seen it many times. Some people who I call giants and greats and things had to pass to bury them.
Do you think we didn't and when I say we, I'm not talking about you and me, obviously, but you think we didn't protect them as a culture?
Absolutely. I think we fail at that miserably. It's one of the reasons I'm doing this now. And one of the reasons I'm excited to talk to you, I'm excited to talk to people like you, because I feel like we have, like I say all the time here, Edred, we are the grown-ups. It's not nobody else to blame. We have to see about mommy and them now, you know what I mean? Somehow or the other, I end up being an adult. I don't know when it happened.
But adulting is a scam.
It's a scam, yes. Because hear what they don't tell you about, but it's a whole episode gone already done now. But hear what they don't tell you about adulting, right? You had to see now, you reach this age where you had to see about the children and what we used to call the adults,
once a
the
man,
parents.
twice a child.
That's how it is. Brother. And the once a man is a heavy load. You learn. Yeah. You learn, and I learning it now. We're watching your parents. When you watch pictures of your parents when they're young, the picture look old, but them fresh and young.
Yeah.
But them looking, when you watch them good now, it's a different person you're seeing. What you see when you see our parents now is what we used to call old people when we was young.
100%.
It's happened fast. Yeah. It's happened gradually, so you don't notice it. But one day, it's just watch them and it's like, what going on? So that's why I always encourage by talking to people like yourself who are willing to take some of the risks to take it and take a different stand as artists. Because when you ask me if we fail them, the answer is yes. It have no reason the Fosto should have buried the way he buried. What the Fosto do for this country?
Yeah.
could never outweigh in my mind no doctor, no lawyer, no politician, no engineer. But I feel the things real. That's the first so clapping. As a man drinking and all, I can't do my eye with that. I can't see.
You're not sure who it is.
I thought the first to come back to hit my bells, yes?
Because as a nation too, bro, we could hold up people and that's something even not just older people, there's people in my time of my career that I see do some work that they probably don't even feel appreciated for the work that they did.
Yeah.
And that's why I was telling man, I was like, always lift up people. Always say a man's name.
That's what I'm here for.
Always, because you have to. I was a youth man. I remember getting a mixtape from Chromatics Against the Grain as a young rapper, Highway Records. I remember messaging Matix on Facebook, being like, yo, just tell me where the studio is.
Here, come in.
Easy. Because a switch went off in my head when I realized that was possible.
Yeah.
And if he didn't do what he do, the switch might not have went off.
Yeah, and let's hope that, I mean, he's different. And that's why I like talking to our generation. He's different. He taken the business, and that's why I appreciated Bungie for saying what he's saying. So it's not fun, it's not thing, it's creative, it's your passion, it's all those
and
things, but there's
work.
a standard, it's real work.
Yeah.
I appreciated him for saying that. I appreciate him for taking the chances you took too. So
I saw Bungie in New York like 3 weeks ago, and he actually told me about, I was leaving an event he was there, we just reason for 5, and he told me about an interview. I think it's that same interview in New York. He was telling me, he's like, yo, you had to go and talk to this person. I'll organize.
Oh, that's good.
If you're back and we were talking about the fact that we don't tell our stories. And it's a little bit a part of our culture, because if I tell you about my experience with somebody, the person mightn't always understand my perspective. So we just kind of talk a story.
Right.
But when we do that, we're not giving the people a perspective of what actually is taking place in our journey as musicians, our journey as artists, our journeys in the work that we're doing.
Or some of the things our parents sacrifice for us. What you talking about, mommy making big sacrifices.
Real.
You know how I see it sometimes, as if when you tell a story like that, I feel like it creates space for a mother now who child wants to do creative things at 3 years old.
Yes, sir.
And she frightened. You're right to be frightened. She don't know. You must be frightened.
Yeah.
But you could see where, hey, this person could. It's a real work. I like how you put it.
It's real work, bro.
So you gone and left the good government work, right? So let me go back to Trinidadian now. You leave a good government salary, go on the road and
stability, they love that stability. You leave in a stable income. I'm telling you why.
You see, David go put me out. But CPAP was a stable work the other day, but you don't talk about that. We go edit that part out, right? So it was a stable work for thousands of people just recently. But what's a stable job? We had to try it. I appreciate people for coming and telling these stories because of that. And part of what I do in terms of my own strategy is, what I do is if people call people name in a certain way here, I just record with them before I put the episode so they don't know what Jimmy say about them.
No.
Just keep it pushing. Keep it going forward.
I weak. No way.
Let me go back to your story now, because you go carry me down the road. I was talking about that the whole day. You know,
you take your time.
No, listen. You talking about things that are close to my heart.
Man, what he does usually drink and leave my red wine.
Next time, book this man 9. Let me start an hour early. So let me go back to the early days of poetry now. You see mommy doing poetry and writing and stuff. Yeah. When you start writing?
What year that was? I think I was like 17, 18 maybe.
Okay.
In terms of formulating spoken word in this way, and I always credit two people for, aside from the writing aspect of it, the delivery aspect of it comes from a poet by the name of Saul Williams and Muhammad Muakil, who we know from Freetown now.
Right.
There was something about the strength in delivery from Muhammad. I was like, okay, I need to learn how to do this. I could write something down on a sheet of paper and the way in which I speak, again, my mother, you had to speak proper, articulate yourself, and
Academic.
be able to make sure people hear what you're saying. Don't talk dialect in the woman class because they're not your friend. Real, as simple as I'm telling you.
I like it.
That's my mother. And I went to primary school for a little bit, kind of back and forth in London. And I had a Chinese teacher, not just an English lady, a Chinese teacher. So the way in which I speak now has a lot to do with the background of that. So I would speak clear. I would try to speak proper English.
Right.
I also have a lisp, if you can hear. I'm fighting with some things there. Right?
It's a cold word.
Right? So, and it was, watch out, it was bad. It was real bad. I'm fighting with some things, so I had to make sure that I speak clear.
Sure.
So when I started writing poetry, Muhammad helped me, not in, it was from a distance at the time. He helped me figure out how do I bring dialect into my delivery. Because all the other poets that I might have been looking at may have not been doing that. Big up Skeeto too. Kyle, he was one of the other people I was looking at. An opportunity came up. I was writing this piece, big up Vishal. I was writing this piece for the Live concert. You remember the Live concert?
As Vishal Vass.
Yeah. As a youth, I was writing this piece, and I can't even remember where I get onto Vishal. I can't even remember exactly how, but I reached out to him and I was like, yo, I'm working on this piece based on the situation. You know, I know you're all working on this. I wanted to bring this forward.
Right.
And I sent it to him, and he was like, I now play this for Machel Montano. I now play this for bigger Chow. I now play it. And he was like, it looking like we were to be a part of the show. And this is, I probably 17 years old, to be honest with you. And carry my mom to the event. I perform. Laundry bring me on because Laundry from Grande, and he make a big, he's like, nah, I have to introduce this man, ting. And the reality is, I think at that point was when Jimmy October, because I have a video of him, he introduced me as LaShawn.
I see.
Right? I wasn't Jimmy October yet because I wasn't in that like bag yet. I was more making rap. So me, Fat Dog, big up Fat Dog from Grande, Nick, my brother, we more nuts. We now just making rap.
Sure.
And I was trying to find a way to take that into something else at that time. So the Live concert, went from there. That's where I meet like Freetown, class. I started to be more in the space.
Right.
And after that, we went into something called the Free Speech Project, if anybody remember the Free Speech Project. That was, it was on 961.
Change everything, I feel.
WFM, you know, all these stations. And that was when I had changed my name, because Chawad called you as like, where you want to go as on this thing? And I was like, well, I definitely not going as LaShawn because I don't want to mix up my life there. And my name was Mike at the time, as in microphone.
I got it.
Because that's where everybody used to call me in my neighborhood. Because I just talk a lot, sing a lot, and I'm very loud. Right? So they literally,
Mike.
my nickname is Mike.
Yeah.
So I was like, now is the time. So we do the Free Speech Project, Poetry Moving. I changed my name to Jimmy October.
Nice.
So it used to go in the spotlight, Jimmy October. Songing good, I say, right, till we up. Right? So from the Free Speech too, after performing in the Live concert, that is how I was able to, I would have opened the year Machel had. No. So that was before. We would have put poetry in Machel Monday in different slots where Machel was organizing the show.
Yes, interludes.
And I think I was before Happiest Man Alive or something. And that was just, those things were just these moments. Obviously, I'm young. Those moments coming and going. I talking to Machel on Twitter. Like those moments just moving in this way, you know.
Of course.
And the year that he had On My Way, I remember Mustafa, the poet, who was in the video, and he couldn't make it to Trinidad at the time, I think. And I remember Che calling me being like, yo, you know, I'd sent him a piece that I had for On My Way. And he was like, you know, Machel, were you to do it? And I was like, all right, say less.
Yeah, you go in.
And that, I think from that point was when I was kind of really being like, you know what, I feel real purpose in this thing. And that's when I really start. From after that was when I made this song called Gossip, which was rap song. And that's when I was like, yeah,
it's happening.
I really end this thing. Like Jimmy October is here. I want to take this thing seriously as a career and see how it move. And
well, before you go on from that, I want to go into them 3 moments. So you're going to do that in a show. I would say that at that time is not common, right? to do that, to do spoken word in front of an audience like that. If people remember what that live concert was,
and maybe not even. That's not a poetry thing.
No, that's what I mean. Like, people head bad like mine. So, what is it like you going out on the stage to approach that? And what's your response like?
I think for the live concert, I didn't have any. I was just nervous. And I kind of couldn't believe I was talking to... believe you're talking to Machel Montano at 18? I couldn't really believe. I was talking to these people that I was seeing on a screen. On a phone for my whole life.
Of course.
I was just happy to be there.
And how people responding? People.
Yeah, bro. People's response was like, that youth man bad, but what the fuck is that? Like that is where it was.
Which is not a common response to spoken word.
And I think that is where the light probably went off in all our heads that the Free Speech Project could be a thing, because we realized, we have a space to bring some positivity and conversation into the fold that wasn't common.
No.
And if you know me, I like to make the uncommon feel kind of common for you. Like, get with, like, this way it is now.
Going with.
You know what
Understand.
Which is a risk, and it takes a lot, you know what I mean? It takes plenty.
For sure.
But yeah, I don't think there was much. I don't think there was much thought. Going into the response or the.
You're just doing it.
Just doing something, bringing something to the table that I love to do.
So good. Let me give you fan perspective, right? Since you wasn't studying it, I'll tell you from our side. Like again, at my age group, I am at a crossroads because I see a lot of the people who came before. And I see what you're all doing now. And I feel I'm at the center of that disconnect now, where people could call me to say, this is Calypso or not Calypso. And people could sit here with me and say, hey, why doing this, why doing it? Right? And when I grow up and watch people like Paul King Douglas do what they did in spaces like you'll do now or have done then, so much of it, there's just a familiarity to it that almost make me realize, wait, no, we used to do this all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what happened. Or I guess when we was young, we was a little rebellious too, because the truth is our generation, when we were teenagers, we was trying to hear dancehall or dub at the time.
We still are.
Yeah, I guess. and to me, I don't know if anything wrong with it. Yeah, youths had to do what youths do. It's just what it is. And we must accept that I guess the problem is you just don't realize when you're not young again, you know, and they have a fresh batch of youths coming out. When you go into school and you're doing you had to create what coming next. You focus on that.
It. Yeah.
So it was so reminiscent of that. And I'm talking about not just the performance at Live or the ones that Machel will talk about, but just the whole idea of that movement that came through. Salute to Ojo was a big at the center of it to create it. Because Dread, at that time in an urban space,
that was.
If anybody had write down on paper, say 96.1, who we was there when 96 launched, right, as youths. They say, hey, at some point, Chinese laundry go bring poets and things. We say, all right. Yeah. We go say, ain't gonna work. Nope, don't stop my music to play nothing. It was a shamble to put a poet.
This was running in the different time slots in the day.
All day.
Crazy.
Whole day.
On YouTube too. We was recording pieces and playing them too.
Exactly. He was one of the first people to do that too. Plenty of radio stations wasn't doing that. But it felt, for me, at my age, like, hey, we're back in the game. Yeah. We have back the John Agitations and the Paul Kings Douglas, who the spoken part of what our culture is coming through.
I love the way that you're marrying those things together because it means there's some continuity to it. I was a youth man. I remember listening to my mother and her husband at the time. They had like Paul Kings Douglas cassettes and CDs of him live and like recorded. I don't even know what that is at the time, but we listening to it because that's what they listening to and we there. But when you grow up now, you realize, I know his son. Yeah, like you realize all these things connected.
You said it in the beginning.
Why you even doing what you doing now?
100%. You started with
it's real.
So Machel Monday, another beast of an event.
Yeah.
You and Machel Monday when that was at the height of what it was.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then you going in to do a spoken word before what would be one of his biggest songs.
Run, repeat. Crawl, walk, run, repeat. Crawl, walk, run, repeat. These soles, these shoes, my God, if these feet could talk, what would they say? I'm on my way, I'm on my way, I'm on my way. Only if time could wait. As I'm watching these watches, these clocks, tick-tocking away to a place where there shall be no limits, and I will be with you. I am on my way to truth. The future lies in the bed of the root, and I salute you.
What's that like? You studying the moment then? Or to tell you the fan side again?
I think I've always been a big fan of Machel's work ethic. The things you could see passion, you could see drive, you could see these things that have like you set out to do something. So even I remember I go in rehearsal, sometimes I ain't even had to be there. You're just watching in the band room and you're watching this thing happen. And at that time too, I had to learn how to do that way. Like I had to learn how to put everything into what I'm doing, and that's what I was doing at that time. Just learning on the bench.
Yeah, absorbing.
I'm making sure that I come to do what I do to the best of my ability, so that you see me, but I also absorbing what are the things that I could learn from what this man doing here. And at a young age too, you're just like. You're just like moving through it. Yeah. You're making mistakes, you're learning, you're listening, you're seeing, you're like, all right, cool, all right. This is not, I want to do this. Yeah. And I think in a very, very innocent way.
Right.
It not, them days I don't even probably know what the word anxiety mean. If you think, like,
I suppose, we didn't grow up with that word at all.
No, we didn't grow up being, I didn't grow up, I was feeling something.
Yeah, but we couldn't label
more
it.
Than likely had like some kind of ADHD or OCD or something.
Right.
Just based on me thinking about what my personality was.
Yeah, and we only had two diagnoses in we time, slow and hyper. Is that slow? Oh, yeah, hyper bad.
And watch out. Yeah. I was hyper in the class and slow in the book. So I was the both of them. You know what I'm saying? So, mommy dealing with mommy dealing with
salute to mommy, I like that.
She say, but you not paying attention or?
Yeah? Let me get you something to make you pay attention.
What you doing when Miss talking to brother? I tell Richard and them a joke. Sometimes I tell it at a point in time, Miss Hercules walk into the class and she let me know, hey, when I come in, I would like to see you walking out.
Yeah.
Because you only talking in my class, brother. I pay you to sit down by Joshua, you're talking. I pay you to sit down by Marcus, you're talking. I pay you to sit down. You come and sit down by me, asking me something too, boy. What am to you, boy? I just had so much.
Yeah.
A ball of energy.
Imagine that look when it come out now. You gonna make me stay a whole day to it because I find, right? We should have a special thing. Every teacher who finds out a child who's talked too much in our culture, we must identify that child and send that child to spaces. Because talking is a big part of our culture. You say it in the beginning, talking is Calypso, talking is Calypso, talking is a big part of what we do.
Yes.
No matter them tell me I talk too much in school. All right, don't every walk it have with talking.
Come on, and what's
your
your
lecturing, podcasting, radio? All right, don't go on. You know what I mean? So I waiting to interview some teachers here who tell me that to thank them.
I went back to schools to do talks and thing in big auditorium and thing. And Miss Friday who was telling me to hush my ass.
Yeah,
and I telling them children, get them thunder sometimes and talk. No
Talk.
real. Get them thunder sometime. What happened? What she go beat you for that?
Yeah, take the Lexus, they say the Lexus make me better.
Because it might one day, it might make sense. Oh God, don't get them too much trouble. Eh?
Yeah, it
I
might.
never tell all they get them
Jimmy
trouble.
said get real trouble in school.
I used to talk a lot. I had a lot to express. I think that's what it was.
Well, I mean, before we move on from that, the truth is that anybody who has a lot to express could tell you how frustrating it is when you tell us to keep quiet.
Yeah.
It creates more problems, right? Yeah. We're going to leave that at that for any therapist come back, right? You know what I mean? We can't let the alcohol be the only therapist we have. So, going back to that moment, fully loaded again. I'm too old to be outside. You know what I mean? As a man supposed to be in my bed by 9 o'clock. But Bounty Killer and Idonia and Beanie Man and Hoppy, you know, it's fully loaded. We come through when he start fully loaded and think me and my brethren say we had to come out. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that. I learned that on the podcast that I did with Hoppy. I didn't know that fully loaded was something from the past.
I see, right? You must be, yeah, because
I thought that was the first.
I see.
Fully loaded.
Nah.
The artwork was yellow.
Yeah.
Which
it
ties
was.
me back to when Hoppy had the yellow car and the yellow.
Right.
Yeah, but I
you
didn't
wouldn't have known
that
It's
in
true.
the context at the time. I learned that from the podcast.
Well, good. So tell people why they must come and tell their stories, right?
Yeah, no,
because it's
really.
easy for
Come
people
and
to
tell your
think.
stories.
You will go through it too. You will think that everybody know what you went through.
Nah.
It's just not true.
They don't
We was there. So Fully Loaded actually was a real throwback to what was Fully Loaded back in the day.
So tell me,
So old people like myself
what was
now.
Fully Loaded back in the day?
Fully Loaded, they just used to bring in song systems mostly. Because song system events, like Hoppy was saying in the episode, it started to fade away. It was local clashes. Mostly Matt Jugglers, Radioactive, Cell Construction. That's where it starts. Then you had people like Mosiah Gold Star, Audio Menace, Judah and them from South. It started to become a big swelling of the song system culture. And Harvard's base, all them places, Salute Basel, was Clash.
Okay.
And song system dance and things. So what you see Hoppy describing 45 shootout?
Yeah.
That is when it started to, like it passed its peak. Because, I mean, how much money you go really spend on dub plates and how much dance you go to hear the same set of dub plates over and over. So they did it with records, regular records. And that was a little more attractive to girls because they're real heavy stones. They could have sink a boat. It was no woman in the dance. You know, Hoppy didn't tell you that part of the story, but it was Mandeville, Manchester, Man United. It was a real man thing. But what Hoppy was always innovative, always. He see how that was fading. And Fully Loaded is an event towards Jamaica. They used to do that every year in Montego Bay. Tony Matteran and them control Fully Loaded.
Shit.
So Hoppy with the bright self again decide we need
Come
a
on.
Fully Loaded.
Yeah.
And it was a song system showcase more than a clash. So what would happen is Mighty Krong might come. The same fellow who interviewed Bungie and them was Mighty Krong manager, Irish and Chin.
Okay.
So Mighty Krong might come on here, Stone Love came on here, those Jamaican songs.
Yeah.
And you might have Shal and them was playing on jugglers at the time. They might play a few little things, warm up, and then you have the big thing.
Gotcha.
Then it turn into artists. So that is when we hear they when Fully Loaded come out, it sells out the day. That day it's selling out. Yeah, Hoppy and them was no joke. Yeah, Hoppy and them is
That crazy.
Hoppy and them had a control on youth from ever since. That's why the episode's so fascinating. Because to see him now
the
with
episode was
Scorch,
very, very
talking to young people still is amazing.
very fascinating.
So, Having said all that, I come out my bed. Me ain't come out in years. I just as old as Fully Loaded, so me ain't going nowhere. I live in South at the time, man. So I call up my brethren, salute to my partner Hinkson. I say, Hinkson, Fully Loaded, boy. We had a go because bound to kill that thing. And here now, we upset. Because when we go in there now, the place ain't ram like how Fully Loaded used to be. And if you remember, they had on the inside, the basketball side, basketball court side of the complex, they had a sound system thing. Inside. They perform outside.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
But the clash thing, I remember, where's this man from Jugglers named Brandon Stryker? It was bad for people who like that, but it was empty. And when in the empty, it real echoey. And when you're old, you can't take noise, echo, late nights is a bad combination. My tism is on all. My tism marking up. I can't take it. But I always remember coming back outside because now you want to see the show. And soon after I came outside, you all had performed. Who you performing with then is Brave Boy and
I think that show would have been me, Brave Boy, Mark Hardy, Young Rod, and my 1-2, Jane Ash.
I see.
Because that was probably very close as well to the time of Something to Believe In, which was an EP that me and Naj made. And him and I he is probably, between him and my brethren, Darren, R&BD, they are probably how I end up more so at Scotch music.
I see.
Naj and Happy, they were cool too. They cool too, and I used to be like, all right, cool, when I could fall in. And me and Happy then obviously we just get Bella rapper. We get cool. We would talk a lot about music. As a nerd, you know, and Happy, you know, you shit that he want to talk about. So it would have been that batch. And I think too, even I want to say this particularly too, because I feel like sometimes we had to call names.
Please.
You see Hardy, Rod, Inzi, people, there's a time when it might not been what's happening now a little bit easier than that time. And there's work, people trapped. So
talk about it.
If you remember, things been building into certain things, and if you wasn't around 10 years ago, you might know. But it's very, very, very important to put respect on certain people's names because and give people their flowers because people spend time building.
It's important.
People spend time building, putting energy into their craft. And I can't call everybody name.
Yeah, but we was there.
But I was right there. I was right there. I see where sometimes when you're walking on a stage, a man say, "Oh God, that fella's rapping, mate." Because bro, last night I pull up because I was talking to a young brother last night about things that didn't, and I pull up Isaac, Trini, and Richard. He was like, "This could never be you, real." He was like, what? Because some people don't connect the dots.
You're not going to be able to.
They don't. My hair wasn't where it is now. I was fucking 20 years old or something.
It's a big difference.
But he was like, dog, this is an anthem, bro. And I remember telling Mevon, I was like, Mevon, I don't want to say doubles in no song, man.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, I switch up two things, and he said, yo, you had the grit, you have the energy. Do it.
So Mevon had poor choices in doubles from since back then. What the hell
you see, and I watch your show. You see, this is where you doing me. Hey, deal with here, Mevon. I know my business. Don't put me in all your bacchanal. Right? But I remember just telling him, hey, say less.
Right, and you work it.
Let me press R.
Imagine that.
Because the reality of anything, even if it wasn't, in my mind, I wouldn't even get to songs like Vacation or songs like without going through that particular trap-so era of experiencing. Because I tell people it wasn't cool outside of soca to even use slang from Trinidad in music.
Yeah.
The word, I could say now, this pretty girl wa Raman Calypso. I could say now, more rhythm. I could say now those things. The reality is, those things were frowned upon.
Yeah.
those things were not understood. They were not normal.
Yeah.
People take hard lash and blows. Them fellas, nah, boy. Like,
not them fellas, you have to say we.
Say less.
All right?
Say less.
Yeah, it's important that you say we.
Say less.
Because I grew up in a time where I was disconnected. Let me ask a man a question who knows something about food, right? David, how important is food to our culture, you think?
How important it is?
Food to our culture.
Well,
Crucial.
it is crucial.
Critical. So when you say music is our culture is so many things. Putting doubles in a song, we had to do it. But the truth about it is there was again, maybe when we was young, I feel like a lot of that disconnect created because there was a time when some things were happening and people used to say it, and then it had a time where it just was. And the truth is, I feel like if we had to get more comfortable with the fact that if a man don't know, he just don't know. Mm-hmm. So I even appreciate you saying, you show young brothers something, he didn't know it, that's okay. Yeah. That's all right. You know what's the truth? The world starts when you're born, Dread.
Yeah.
The world starts when you're born. And unless we make it cool for people to go back and see what happened before they're born, how you go blame them?
Yeah.
So him not knowing them songs.
No, he know the songs.
He just don't know it's you.
He couldn't believe
Yeah.
it was the same person.
Well, that's
we
important
had that
too.
moment there, and I was like, yeah, and he make me think. I was like, the same thing we talked about. He make me think. Why I don't like to talk too much about. This time and.
Also, I can thank him for you coming.
Yeah.
All right, nice. That will go good. Hey, if you listen this long and you ain't subscribed yet, you're wicked in real life. But thanks for tuning in. Glad you're enjoying it. So, yeah, I was telling about Fully Loaded and me being out way too late. And the crowd is not exactly what it used to be for regular Fully Loaded, right? But I always remember how all they come out there and hold it. So you saw the people's reaction to you all at the point in time? Like, you pay attention to that when you're on stage? Sometimes you don't be, this man don't be watching the crowd.
No, I think, especially at that time, you're young.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
You're not as aware. Mm-hmm. You're still kid in the candy store.
Yeah, focus on what you have
happy
to do.
To be here. I really just want to make sure you see what others do, and I really want you to know after today, this is me. I mean, this is what I had to bring to the table.
Good. So let me get the fan perspective. Yeah. That's what I'm here for. It stood out to me because I mean, you know the names for a long time. I mightn't be able at that time to connect your name with your face, but Brave Boy and them been doing it. And as you're talking about connecting, because you don't want to say it, but I will say it, right? You connecting them early hip hop days to what Trinidad and the things they're doing now. I saw it with Spot Rushers and Chromatics and them back in the day.
Correct.
So when I saw you all come out on a show like that, which to my era is like Bounty Killer and Beanie Man was it. And it's not like if you come and the show dip or you drop the standard or it feel like it boring, the crowd was with you.
Yeah.
So I felt like I remember thinking at that time, but more people need to put more people on in this country. We have our own talent. Like we tend to headline foreigners. It was much more the case then than now.
Yeah.
But we tend to headline foreigners a lot and make that the top billing. And I remember watching it and thinking, these are the people who we had to be putting as the headliners on shows. So I appreciated that you all take that chance,
I think there was no even when, and I always make this joke, I say even when you see somebody and you appreciate somebody, put like Rod and Hardy doing what I was doing at the time too. Yeah. Inzi, Naj. Yeah. I remember, and to the point where we could like work together to this high level. Yeah. And the word like competition, it never. It's not that. It's not that. It is. Even if it's a matter of seeing somebody real good, being like, all right, cool, let me see how I could learn.
Yeah, you said that about plenty of people in this episode already. You said about Muhammad, you said about Machel.
Inzi teach me how to perform with a band. Right. Not by showing me,
Yeah, watch.
We was doing shows together. There was a certain energy. And I was like, all right, cool. I want to learn how to perform with a band. And I love to perform with a band more than anything else. More than anything else. Anyway. And being able to even do that with him at the time, that's like that's an important part of my journey, because now I know how to perform with a band. And I'm still looking at Kes when we on road, being like, all right, cool.
You're observing, you're picking up points.
Let's see one note I can take here and put in my pocket to learn for later. But is even what you're saying about putting people on, I think a lot of times, because things so in close proximity here and the country's small, it's a little bit difficult for somebody to feel like they want to help somebody else, because then, quote unquote, now you're in competition with that person. I'm in competition with myself. I wanna do the things that I set out to do, and I wanna be able to do them better every time if that's what I wanna do. And helping people is a part of the process, you know. And people should be able to help other people without even thinking about it.
Yeah, it's that kind of scarcity mentality. You feel like if you give from something that you could have kept. And I don't know if it's true.
Nah.
Yeah,
It's not
I don't know
true.
if
I
it's
don't
a
think
real thing, yeah.
It's not true.
Well, you could see it from the way you approach it. I'd ask you before Kyle and them pull you out about vacation. Where between the rap career and how that come about? We must know. There's kill me for certain things if I didn't ask you to do. So I had to ask about vacation and where it came from.
So, I think before vacation, my life changed. So before vacation was something to believe in, me and Naj, right? It was a project. I love that project. I listened to it the other day. I think it turns 10 years next year.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a particular song me and Naj have that I want to come when it turns 10 years too. So
all right,
let me make that happen
yeah,
then.
let me get it done.
But I was an angry youth. I used to be a lot more aggressive than this based on, I think the way I felt life was treating me at a point in time. My dad died. Like I made something to believe in after that. I want to big up, rest in peace, Trizzy Kid too, you know, Titan.
Which
You
Titan?
might
Video
not know-
Titan?
Nah.
No, I don't know that Titan.
So Titan, Trizzy Kid was like this Asian, super talented youth man.
Okay.
That's how me and Naj met.
Right.
It was literally, we were preparing to do something for him in his memory, do a show. And that's how everybody kind of get more close-knit. All those things helped us be like, in his name, like we have to take this thing seriously.
Right.
He was very creative, and with vacation, after something to believe in, I just felt like a load lifted off my shoulder. I felt like I got what I needed to get out.
Right.
The anger became less. I used to wear black a lot when I was making something to believe in, just black and like dark colors, because again, expressing where I am, this is what I'm feeling, this is where I am. And slowly it started leaving me. And when we got to vacation, I was just feeling light. I started wearing color.
Imagine that.
I start feeling softer in my being, and I always tell people I'm a very fluid person, like a fluid person. I start connecting more with the softer, more feminine side of who I am, of being like it's half and half, balance everything out, and that's where that come from. That's where even the feeling of being able to sing more. In high school, singing, unless you're singing for birds, which we was doing,
cool, right?
it wasn't cool. We was only singing for birds, for pips. Now, like, hey,
To get in.
Corie does call me singer boy still to this day when she see me. That's a real me and Jojo. That's what we was doing.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? This is what I'm feeling like. And I also really wanted to make something that was closer to culture. And that bounce, that beat, Tano was like, yeah, I hearing something that could happen. And I just embrace it.
Well, people embrace it too.
Yeah, that was, I remember Rich here right now. I remember playing Vacation for Rich. He had liked it, but he was like, you sure?
Yeah.
Like literally being, and I was right there with him. Like, you are this, you build this a little bit of an aggressive persona to come and give we sunny skies.
Yeah.
Boy. How we doing that? And this is where the art side of it come in. Me and Kristen Kun sit down and decide, all right, cool. This is how we're going to bring it to the people. We're going to document it in this way, and we're literally going to switch the aesthetic. We're going to switch what it look like because the music feels like something else.
Oh, yeah, and you seeing what the music
And
song like.
seeing what the
shit.
music songing like. So I was like, this is where we going.
Gotcha.
And we're going to show the beauty of where we come from, the beach, the sky, a vacation based on a lot of like blues, yellows, those high, even whites in a light
right.
tone, those like high frequency colors is what I would call it. That is what it's based in. Something to Believe In was literally based in the nighttime.
Yeah.
And so it was literally like day and night.
Yes, it's a literal vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, see why is that problems talking to writers? All right, Carl, we almost done. You see, writers is a hell of a thing, you know. You can't miss nothing they say, you know.
And that's how we reached it.
One more moment I want to talk about where I saw that I felt good. Because again, you said it coincidentally before we start, where, again, you asked me, when you get to know Jimmy October, and it's a question it seems like you ask people like when they come across you.
Because it's interesting.
And something you said was almost exactly my experience with you, where you have all these moments where you see this person, and then you go back to this, and years after you see Jimmy October, and he's like, wait, this is the same fellow? So I want to tell you that it took me years to connect the dots, because when you're talking about Magic performance reading during COVID, I feel like real years ago to me, but I started to realize why, because when I see you by the clock, which is a big important part of our culture in the stadium, and I see you doing things by, in the same Machel Monday, it's like, wait, this is the same man? So when you talk about young brother, it happens to people all the time. So
Only now, I didn't realize it's not as easy to connect the dots, and maybe I have to do a little bit of that work. I maybe going against the norm.
We do some right today, I hope.
And speaking about it a little bit more.
It's important.
And giving context to it. These are like the different stages and
For
I
sure.
would say different iterations of Jimmy
of
October.
you. Yeah, for sure. Because without that, and remember too that the stories that you'll tell in studios and the stories that you'll tell when they come out, we will just never know. So I appreciate you taking the time today, brother. I appreciate you coming through.
Sure,
as I told you yesterday, I was very appreciative of the fact that you always like and you always share the thing.
Yeah.
When nobody wasn't trying to be here, and I used to be begging people, I used to send 100 messages to get one person to
check
come.
out my thing out, bro.
Jesus.
Nah,
Talking for hours.
Real.
So I appreciate
Nah,
that.
bro. And to you and the team to give thanks for giving us space for artists to, one, share their reality, their journey, but also be able to translate to the people where we are,
It's
what
important.
we're dealing with, how these things actually taking shape in the world.
Yeah.
We can't do, we don't get a chance to do all of that. I don't, the whole phone here.
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Well, that's my life's
trying my
purpose.
best.
Yeah, that's my life's purpose. So as you say, as what you're working on evolve, come back through. Talk about it anytime.
we
And one
back.
more question for you. We start on a deep philosophical level, so we had to end there, right? I see you open for Machel, and I want to know, your mother is an academic and so on. How do you spell writer?
How do I spell? Why you ask me that?
Why? I'm a writer. R-I-G-H-T-E-R.
You can take your word for it, brother. You can take
You
your
know,
word.
where you know about that?
I don't know nothing about it. Thanks very much, brother. I appreciate you coming through. This was nice.